Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year, Rube. How you doing?
Doing great.
New Year, new you?
Same me, New Year.
Okay, that
Yeah.
works too. This is the Eagle Eye Podcast brought to you by Nissan, Reuben Frank, and Dave Zangaro. It's 2026, but let's be real. This is a football podcast. We don't operate by the Gregorian calendar. We operate by the NFL schedule.
Gregorians were interesting people with their Gregorian chants and all that. Yeah. What's your favorite Gregorian chant? Do you have a favorite?
Is Coop one?
Yeah, well, I'll take it. Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
We have a lot
It's
to talk
close.
about. We have a lot to talk about today. Eagles have their Week 18 matchup against the Commanders on Sunday. We finally found out what their plan is for that game, so we'll break that down. We have a bunch of players we want to watch in this game, and then at the end of the podcast, a bunch of questions from all you good people listening at home. Let's start with the news, though, Rube. The last time we spoke, we kind of went back and forth the pros and cons of both paths here, either playing your starters, trying to get that second seed, or resting your starters and prioritizing being healthy going into the playoffs. We eventually find out on Wednesday Nick Sirianni has chosen the latter. He's going to rest at least most of his starters, his key starters in this game.
Yeah, and I think we kind of had a hunch that that's what he would do. He spoke for quite a while about the importance of going into the 22 and 24 seasons healthy, or Super Bowls healthy, into the postseasons those years, and just having a bye week going into them and kind of creating a bye week. And it kind of sounded like he had that on his mind, and he did. Um, my initial reaction was, you got to play everybody if you have a chance to move up to two. But I've kind of changed my outlook, and I do think it makes sense to because I think you can still be number two at starting the backups. I think you can beat Washington with Tanner McKee and these other guys. They're not very good. They're going to just want the game to be over with. And then it comes down to Chicago and Detroit, and I think Detroit's going to do everything they can to win that game. You would think that's what a Dan Campbell coach team would do. So I think they have a shot at it. The worst case scenario was that you play the starters and someone gets hurt, and then Chicago wins, and you go into the playoffs banged up as a 3 seed. So this way, they still, you're guaranteed to be pretty healthy going into the playoffs, and you still have a shot at the 2 seed.
Yeah, well said. And I think, obviously, we heard from Nick Sirianni on Monday, hinted toward that. And he has a good point that, in those 2 Super Bowl seasons, they were extremely healthy for the big game. And it's, I think we gloss over it a little too much probably, but their medical staff has done a good job. Now, there's some dumb luck involved in that. I don't know if the medical staff is eliminating those season-ending serious injuries, but uh, they seem to be really healthy when it matters most. And even the guys they haven't had, like Jalen Carter, comes back. He looks great. Lane Johnson, we still expect back for the playoffs. Nakobe Dean, we expect back for the playoffs. So I think it does make sense to prioritize this. Now, there is a scenario where this bites them. I mean, there's a scenario where they're not able to beat the Commanders with their backups, and the Lions do beat the Bears, and then you're saying, man, they missed out on that opportunity, but they're clearly happy to live with that.
Yeah, and then you lean on the fact that they're the best road team in football, and if you do get past that wild card round and you have to go on the road, you feel pretty good. I mean, this has been a good road team. You're coming off a win in Buffalo, really tough place to play. I mean, they've won in Green Bay, they've won in Minneapolis, they won at Arrowhead, they won in Tampa, they won in some tough places to play this year. So it's not the easiest route, and certainly last year being home for the first 3 games was huge. But look, that's something you have to weigh when you make this decision.
Yeah. And now, to be clear, they're not going to be able to bench everyone and rest everyone in this game. So some guys will be inactive, some guys will be limited, some guys will dress and not play. Uh, do you think this is my theory on this, and I don't know how realistic this is, but is there a world where they're in a tight game against the Commanders? They look up, the Lions are taking care of business, they have a lead on the Bears. Is there a world where they have a starter or two who's dressed who hasn't played and they insert him in the game to try to win at the end?
I guess it's conceivable. Um, yeah, we'll see who's up and who's not up. But I know that in the past that you're concerned about a guy who hasn't played at all in a game coming in cold, and what he's gonna be able to do. if he hasn't played. But guys have to do that as backups all the time.
Hmm.
I guess it's not out of the question. Um,
I think anyone who's in uniform just has to know that there's a chance they might need to play.
yeah, and then they could get hurt, and then you don't score anyway, or you don't win. I mean,
Sure.
there's a lot of eventualities in this, baked into it. So, a lot of decisions still to be made, certainly.
So let's go through the players. Like, who's not going to play for sure? Obviously, no Jalen Hurts, no Saquon, no
AJ,
AJ, no
I
Devontae.
think Devontae is. There's a chance he might let him try to get his 1,000 yards. I doubt it, but I think
I
there's a
doubt it.
chance.
On the offensive line, no Dallas Goddard. By the way, he popped up on the injury report with a knee injury. So if anyone who has an injury, they're not going to play. Who's on the fence? So no Dallas Goddard. You would think no Jordan Mailata, no Landon Dickerson, no Cam Jurgens, no Lane Johnson. Maybe some Tyler Steen. You're
Yeah,
going to need someone else to play.
yeah, I would think so. I would think Tyler would start.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then on defense, no Jalen Carter, right?
yeah,
He just came back from an injury. Now this is trickier because you don't have, you have like rotational positions on defense. You can't just bench everyone.
yeah,
Jalen Phillips popped up on the injury report on Wednesday with that ankle injury that he hurt during the game. He's already played 17 games this season. If anyone deserves this bye week, it's him.
yeah. I would agree. I don't think we'll see him.
Okay. Brandon Graham's going to have to play, right?
Yeah, I would think
It's
so.
like, I don't know if he signed up to play this game, but he's going to have to play, I think.
He probably, he looks as an opportunity to get another sack or
Yeah.
two.
Jordan Davis?
I think he'll play.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
I was going to say no on Jordan
I
Davis.
think he'll play.
Nolan Smith? Jalix Hunt?
I would say probably not.
Okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
and Patrick Johnson out of elevations, right? And they'll sign him.
I would think either. So that's what the Eagles played some roster games this week. They cut Charlie Hewlett, the long snapper. He cleared waivers. They signed him to the practice squad, so he'll be elevated for this game. They're going to have a long snapper, but there are two players who have used up their elevations this year: Patrick Johnson and Andre Sam. So presumably one of those guys is going to take that 53rd spot.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see. And they could still do some more roster shuffling. I'm not sure what, but I would think it'll be Patrick Johnson.
I had a fun idea this week, and the Commanders didn't do it, but I thought it would have been very funny if the Commanders claimed Charlie Hewlett.
You love that idea.
What gamesmanship would that be?
Yeah,
The Eagles are playing these roster games. The Commanders they could play the heel and just take away a long snapper for this game.
they could have done that.
That would have been funny.
Yeah,
They didn't.
they did not.
That would have added some juice to this. It's already a rivalry. They hate each other.
Nothing like a long snapper to kind of bring out the
I
best in
thought
a
it would have been
rivalry.
funny. At linebacker, obviously no Nakobe Dean. I would imagine no Zach Bond. What do you think about Jahad Campbell? He was limited on Wednesday. It was an estimated report with a back and shoulder injury. Does he play in this game?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, you'd like to get him as many reps as possible.
Mm-hmm.
The injury is a factor. There's not a ton of linebackers.
That's the thing. You're down to Trot and Smile Mondon.
Yeah, I want to see Smile, and Trot, but yeah, that's not enough.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I think Jihad might play.
Okay. And in the secondary, no Quinyon, no Coop, no Reed,
Yeah, I
maybe Epps.
I think Epps might play. I think those other guys might play.
Epps and Adoree.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
Kind of fun to figure that out a little
yeah.
bit.
I
You
think
think Brady Mann's going to play? They need a punter in this one?
I've just been writing about Braden Mann this morning.
He's been excellent.
He's been incredible.
Probably not the best sign that he's been their best offensive weapon recently, but
Do you know he averaged just under 55 yards a punt on Sunday. It's the second highest ever by an opposing punter at Rich Stadium / Highmark Stadium. Stonehouse had like a little bit higher, but it was in September, so it's the highest cold weather.
Stonehouse is good too.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I think he's out of the league, but yeah, he was great. But yeah, he's so clutch.
And those were kind of gross. It wasn't super windy, but it was sloggy out there.
Sloggy.
Yeah.
It was sloggy.
I made up that word, but I'm allowed to do that, right?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay.
New Year's Day, you can make up words, make up players, practice squad guys. You
Yeah.
can do whatever you want.
Thank you.
No one's checking on us today.
I do like these days, by the way. I like a day where it's a holiday and like the drive down here is easy. There's no one in the newsroom to tell us what to do.
Got the Disney on Ice parking
Hmm.
situation.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I like a holiday. I like working on a holiday. Is that weird?
Well, it is. It's empty in here. It's quiet.
I always enjoy it.
Yeah.
Even back when I was working you know jobs in high school and college, I liked a holiday. I don't know what it is about it.
Did you like being in the locker room yesterday till 6 o'clock when there were no players in there?
Um, Not when there were no players in there, but before that, yes.
Okay. So Dave likes working on a holiday. We've
Yeah,
learned
I
that.
kind of do. It's a weird thing, but I do like it a little bit. Okay. Not a good transition here, but let's talk about the Eagles' offense a little bit. You wrote about it. I talked to Jordan Mailata and Jalen Hurts about it. It's we kind of waited all year for them to figure it out, for them to get the most out of their talent. And here we are going into week 18. They're not even going to play. Like they've run out of chances to show us that they can be that offense in the regular season. Now the hope is that they figure it out in the playoffs, and it's possible. Like it's not a 0% chance that they figure it out and they're a better offense. I don't know if they're going to be a juggernaut in the playoffs, but I think there's a chance that they're a functional offense in the playoffs. What do you think? Like, what do you think the chances are that they're able to be better in these games that matter the most?
It's hard to have confidence in that happening because they've had so many weeks to figure it out. I think the one thing that gives you hope is the talent they have, that's going to just kind of take over. Um, but yeah, I mean, they haven't scored 20 points against a good team since the Rams game. They scored 26 coming back. They had to be down by what, 26, I think was it, or 19, I think it was 26-7 maybe. But it's hard to have a lot of confidence in them figuring out how to turn it around when they've had so many chances to do it. And I don't count what you did against the Raiders or the Commanders because you're not facing those teams in the postseason. Giants, big deal. He scored 38 or whatever it was. That doesn't impress me. What impresses me is being able to sustain drives, get in the end zone, make plays, convert third downs against good teams. And they haven't done that. Did it in the first half on Sunday and then had 16 yards in the second half. So I'm concerned. I'm concerned just because they've had so many opportunities to improve it, fix it, solve it, and it's worse now than it was at the beginning of the season. I mean, at least at the beginning of the season, they were scoring, in the low 20s. Since that Rams game, they haven't scored 20 points in 5 games against winning teams. So it's alarming.
Yeah, I totally agree. And the defense is playing really well. Can they win this brand of football in the playoffs? I'm not going to say no. They just beat the Buffalo Bills on the road playing like that, but it does make it a lot tougher and it puts a lot of pressure on your defense to be almost perfect. And that's a tough spot to be in. Talking to Jordan Mailata in the locker room on Wednesday, and he praise the defense for giving them energy and he knows they can rely on that. But then I asked him, like, do you feel like you guys are living up to your end of this? And he's basically said no, but he remains confident that they're going to figure it out. And he pointed to them being doubted before and even last season going into the playoffs, which, look, that's fair. He's allowed to feel that way. I think they should feel that way. They should try to be confident that they're going to figure this out. I think there's a pretty big difference between what we saw last year and this year from the offense.
Yeah, it's one of the things I wrote about was that comparison really breaks down, and that's what Nick said. And I mean, this offense wasn't great during the season, and they gradually got better and better. And then the Washington game in the Super Bowl, they were unstoppable basically. But they were better going into the playoffs than they are now. I mean, they were middle of the road last year. They were
Yeah.
still averaging in the mid-20s.
And they were an elite rushing offense
Yeah,
last year. There was like one half of it that wasn't good. It was the passing offense wasn't good enough. That was December 7th after the Panthers game, AJ Brown, the one word answer passing, but that was one half of it. Like both halves this year haven't been good enough.
rushing, passing.
Yeah, you could say two words now.
Yeah.
I think that's the worry here is at least last year when things weren't going well for the passing offense, you lean on the run game. You lean on that offensive line and Saquon and understand that that was still going to work for you. This year, they've tried to lean on that and just hasn't been there.
Yeah, and that's, the last we saw of the defense will be not being able to run the ball in the second half against one of the worst run defenses in the league. Why is that? I don't know. I mean, obviously, the O-line is not the same O-line. I think Saquon's the same Saquon. We've seen him have some good games in the second half of the season, mainly against bad teams. But if you can't run the ball against, what are they ranked 30th in run defense? They were giving up like 159 rushing yards a game, and they had they had negative yards, I think, in the second half
Mhm.
rushing, including a kneel down at the end of the game. But if you can't dial it up against a bad run defense, you know, how are you going to be able to dial it up against a good one?
Yeah, and I think that their predictability and their mode of attack hurt them in that second half. I don't think it was all just they can't run the ball. I think it
Yeah.
was the Bills sold out to stop it, and they were able to because the Eagles were so predictable in the way they went about it.
Yeah, no doubt.
So it's like you're allowed to help those good players, which is something that let's be honest, it hasn't been great from a schematic and coaching standpoint really all year, or a sequencing standpoint as well.
Yeah, and that's one of the buzzwords Jalen has used is sequencing plays, and that's what a play caller does.
Hmm.
Um, and that's how you keep defenses off balance. That's how you keep them guessing, and that's how you get an advantage. When they don't know what's coming, you have an advantage. And lately, it just seems like the defenses they faced know what's coming. It's not a good place to be.
No, it's not. And you know what? I think we've seen the one thing I will say that like the reason I have a little bit of hope for this offense is that we've seen it in glimpses, right? Like little spurts. We've seen it. I think in the first half against the Bills. If you were watching that game at home and your power went out at halftime, you'd be like, "Oh man, this offense is figuring it out." I think our one emailer when he emailed us at halftime was like, "What a great complete game this is going to be," and then it just fell apart. But uh, I think it depends on your outlook. Like the second half was so bad that it left a terrible taste in your mouth. But the first half, like
Yeah,
legitimately good things that they did.
yeah, 13 points. I think 175, 176 yards. By the way, speaking of power outages, did your power come back on?
It did the other night.
Okay,
Yeah. While we were doing Birds Huddle, I got a text from my electric company saying the power was out. I got home and my house was like, I think down to like 63
okay,
in there, but it kicked on pretty quickly.
okay.
Wasn't too bad.
63 is livable.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Once you see a 5 in
Yeah,
there, that's where it's not fun.
yeah. You don't want to see that 58. Um, okay, so I feel better about that. But yeah, um, 13 points in the first half against that team in that building. I was encouraged. I never would have dreamed they wouldn't score, wouldn't move the ball in the second half. That was hard to watch. There's times you know what I mean. There's times it's so hard to watch this offense because you know it's going to happen, and if if they can't, if we see it, they see it, and they just can't do anything about it. It's frustrating.
Yeah. I mean, I think Nick is going to have to step in a little bit more. He talked about that after the game. I don't know if that's ideal because it's nothing. He hasn't necessarily been very good at that in his career,
Sure.
uh, but maybe he can help Kevin Patullo see the forest through the trees a little bit. I think Patullo. I mean, and his press conference. If anyone listened to it, I don't think you feel better about the direction listening to Kevin speak when he says sometimes we ran just to run. That doesn't make you feel good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the fact that he just doesn't have any answers other than, you know, we keep, getting behind the sticks. We've heard that all year.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an answer. It's not a solution.
Yeah.
Observation.
So this week of rest, not only for health, but presumably it gives them a little bit of extra time. Now they can't game plan specifically for an opponent, but I think they can use some extra time here and self scout. Uh, and typically these Nick Sirianni teams have been good with extra rest from that element too, not just getting healthy, but they seem to figure some things out when they have extra time.
Yeah. I mean, that was the whole thing last year after week 4, getting that early bye and coming back and just really leaning on the running game after that. So um, hopefully they find some answers with that extra time.
Yeah. The problem is I think their answer is always going to be to try to establish the run, and it just hasn't been there this year. What do you make of all that? Like, is it just as easy as the line isn't playing well enough? I think injuries factor into that. I don't know if it's all injuries.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I think Saquon looks fine when he gets going, gets ahead of steam. I know some people think he's not physically the same. That all the touches, what do you have, 493 touches last year, including
Yeah.
the postseason.
I think based on the evidence this year, it's more fair to say all that work had a negative effect on the offensive line more than Saquon Barkley.
It could be. Yeah, that's the Chris Long theory, right?
Hmm.
Um, could be. I mean, none of them have. I think Jordan Mailata has been as good as last year. Certainly the interior guys.
I think he's been up and down.
Yeah, I think he's been pretty good.
Okay.
Um, I think the interior guys.
I mean, Cam's been bad.
Cam has
You
not been
know,
good.
he's a Pro Bowler. Kudos to him. I just think he hasn't played well all year. And
Yeah,
that's a big low. I mean, he was playing at such a high level last year. He was a deserving Pro Bowler last year.
yeah, no doubt.
His play was, I mean, it mattered. And it just hasn't been there this year. Landon, I think, is all the injuries. And you hope it's not that the injuries have taken such a toll on him that he's just not the same player anymore. You hope it's just, hey, he's injured and this is why he can't do the things he used to do. I think the fear is that eventually all those injuries are going to make him a lesser player when he's healthy.
Yeah, and maybe that's part of what we're seeing with Cam. I mean, he's healthy, he's not injured, but he's coming off a pretty serious back injury, and maybe he's just physically not the same guy. That's what it looks like.
Sometimes I don't even know what to make of it. Sometimes he just misses blocks.
Yeah.
I don't know, like bad misses,
Yep.
like barely touching the guy misses, and I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's I don't know if that's all health. Like I think it's just bad blocks sometimes. It's like they
Yeah.
look like MAs. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. He's had a couple of those the last couple of weeks for sure. I don't know what to make of him. Kelsey's not walking through that door.
No, he probably will, but he's not going to play. Actually, I haven't seen Kelsey in a while. During training camp, he was around all the time. When's the last time you saw Kelsey in the building?
I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's interesting.
I saw him at one of the
I guess he's
games.
busy. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess he is. Saw him at one of the games, middle of the season,
Hmm.
pregame. I said something like, "Boy, you really disappeared since you retired, maintaining such a low profile." And he told me they actually cloned him, and there's two of him.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but yeah,
Getting Lane back will help.
it'll help. But those interior guys, I mean, that's a long term concern because we don't know what Cam Jurgens or Landon Dickerson will see next year.
Yeah, and those are young players that are under contract, relatively recently under contract.
Right.
So like they're supposed to be cornerstone type players who haven't played like it this season. And yeah, I think that you're right. That's a concern beyond this year.
Yeah.
And you look at it and you go, okay, I mean, look at this line right now. You have those two guys are concerns. Lane is what, 35? Tyler Steen is going into his last year
Yeah.
of his contract. Jordan Mailata, I mean, you should still have him at a high level for the next few years, but it's a different spot for the offensive line than we've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
It feels like it's time to replenish.
Yeah. I think we might see that. Um, I do think, I mean, getting Lane back will help. Um, but I think the interior guys is a big part of the running game inconsistency. I also think when you're not calling plays at a high level and defenses know what's coming, you're just easier to defend.
Hmm.
And I think we've seen a lot of that where it looks like the defense knows Saquon's getting the ball.
Yeah, I think that it goes hand in hand because, like last year, with the level they were playing at, I don't know if the sequencing mattered as much. It's
Yeah.
like bully ball. We're gonna do this. You know it's coming. You can't stop it. Live with it. This year, it's like if they know it's coming, they're gonna stop it.
Yeah. You made a comment, I think, in walking down to practice or walking down to the locker room where you said they might be better off with Brett Toth at center right now than Cam. And I don't think you're wrong. He's
Toth played well this year,
he's played well.
and the
And
fact that that's even like
even something we talk about
is tells you how bad it's been this year.
yeah, he's been solid.
And I don't know if that's true. I don't think it is. I think they are still better with Cam, but the fact that we're even debating it is not great.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, they have a week to figure it out. They host a playoff game in the wild card round. Let's take a break. When we come back, we want to talk about Week 18 against the Commanders. I have a list of players I'm looking forward to watching in this game. I want to get your take on all of them.
You deserve a car that thrills you, a car that puts goosebumps on your goosebumps. At Nissan, we've got everything from turbocharged SUVs to 100% electric vehicles that'll make your heart beat faster. Experience the thrill for yourself and shop your local Nissan store and nissanusa.com today.
Back on the Eagle Eye podcast, brought to you by Nissan, Reuben Frank, and Dave Zangaro. Rube, I have a list that I made up, 11 players that I'm looking forward to watching in Week 18.
Now, when I first heard about this list, there were 10 players. Did you like wake up in the middle of the night and say, I got to add this guy?
I did.
Yeah.
I'll let you guess when we're done which guy I added to make it 11.
Okay.
And sometimes, I like to have a weird number on a list. It doesn't always have to be 10.
Dave likes weird numbers.
I don't have to
and
conform.
working on holidays.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a holiday.
Learned
I
a
don't
lot
have to
about
conform. Whatever numbers I want. But the one obvious one here is Tanner McKee. We'll start with him. What do you expect from Tanner in Week 18?
Every time we've seen him, whether it was a practice or a preseason game, or when it's mattered, when it's counted, he's been sharp. He's been accurate. I think he sees the field really well. He's a fun quarterback to watch. I'm convinced he could be a starter in this league and will be at some point. Boy, he gets rid of the ball quick. He reads the field. He finds the open guy and he gets the ball there. He's accurate. So
he's confident for a guy who hasn't played that much.
Yeah, he is.
He plays with some confidence.
He does. And we saw it. He came in, I guess, when Pickett got hurt against the Cowboys. He came in through 4 passes, and 2 of them were touchdowns. And then threw 2 touchdowns in his
That was when AJ threw his first touchdown into the stands.
He did.
Big Dom had to orchestrate getting it back.
He did.
That was a fun moment.
Yeah.
I remember like a bunch of us in the press box stopped watching the game because we're watching the progress of that ball being passed hand over hand to the field. And AJ worked with Dom, and they all tried to. It was a fun moment.
And then the next week, he made his first, and to this point, his only career start, and threw 2 more touchdowns. He was really sharp. And then even like in the Raiders game this year, he comes in at the end, cold, hasn't played all year, and goes 3 for 3 for 33 yards, moves the ball. So I think we'll see more of the same. He's a fun quarterback to watch, and I'm sure if he has a big game, we'll hear. It was kind of like Nate Sudfeld in 17. Oh, they can't start Nick Foles.
We're not going to hear that. Not by anyone who means it.
People will want him to start in the playoffs.
Well, that's silly. We're not going to entertain that. But, yeah, I'm excited to watch him. I really am. Yeah. He's been fun every time we see him on the field. Now, this is the reason I'm so curious about this game, though, is like there's actually something on the line here. Like the other games, they count technically, but this is like he has a chance to win this game and help the Eagles improve their seeding going into the playoffs. This is the biggest moment we've seen him in yet.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to affect him at all. He doesn't seem like the kind of guy who would be affected by that. I think he'll go out and play well, even though there is more at stake this time than there has been. He's a piano player, so you get, he's used
is
to.
He?
Yeah, he is. He's used to.
Do you know all the piano players in the locker
room? He's the only one I know who actively like takes lessons and
Okay.
stuff during the off season. I think Jordan Davis told me he plays a little bit. I don't know who else does.
Malata could probably figure it out.
Yeah, he doesn't play keys. He plays some guitar.
Yeah. You could probably figure it out.
Very different. Yeah.
Okay.
Fingering's all totally different.
Yeah, they're different instruments. I'm just saying he's musically inclined.
Probably. Yeah, he is. He's a good singer.
Is he? I haven't heard him sing.
Yeah, he did. You haven't? Yes, you have.
Yes, of course I've heard. Everyone's heard him sing.
Okay. He sings at his locker. So.
Yeah. So Tanner, obviously the number one guy we're looking forward to watching in this game. We'll stick with offense
Let
here.
me ask you one thing about Tanner.
Sure.
What do you think happens with him? Like, what could Howie get for him?
Oh, yeah, it's a good question.
Will he play out his contract? Will he sign somewhere else?
No, I don't think he's going to play out his contract here. I think his value is going to be high enough that Howie deals him. And now the one landing spot that we thought was going to be open for him, New Orleans, might not be open for him anymore. But I don't know. Maybe we get too high on the backup quarterback here in Philadelphia compared to what the rest of the country is thinking about that guy. But I don't know. I think he has a big enough body of work now, especially if he plays well in this game, that if you're a team that wants a competition at quarterback, I think he'd be a good name to bring in.
Yeah, I also think you don't want to just give him away because you're a team that every year is going to want to try to win a Super Bowl, and you want a really capable backup.
Hmm.
Um,
But he
um,
will be entering the final year of his deal
yeah,
next season.
yeah. What do you get for him? Would you take a 3 for him?
Probably. Now that's, you want to make sure you have a backup lined up
Yeah,
that you trust. But yeah, probably a three, or I mean that'd be the bottom,
yeah.
and it depends on you know which team.
Where that 3 is,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah,
How about you?
yeah. I think Howie will trade him. Maybe you draft a guy. I mean, I don't think it's Sam Howell. I don't think
Yeah.
it's Kyle McCord.
And the math changes when you have 2 years left versus 1 year left on the deal,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You have 2 years left of them, like they did before this season. You keep them because you're going to get value. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they don't have to trade him. That's the beautiful thing. If they keep him, he's a valuable player on this roster as the backup. We know how important the backup quarterback is. So uh, I think there's a chance Howie would hold out for it too.
It's possible. I would like to see him get a chance somewhere. I
I
mean,
think eventually he will.
yeah, I think so too.
It might not come next year, depending on what the trade market is, but I think eventually he'll get a chance to at least compete for a starting job.
I agree.
Yeah. Uh, Sticking with offense, Tank Bigsby. I
Sure.
mean, talk about every time you see a guy, he shows up. Tank's been really fun this year.
Yeah, he runs hard and he he runs with a lot of um, violence. Like, he's just a very aggressive runner. I wasn't real familiar with him. I mean, he had a good year for the Jags last year, 700 some odd, 766 yards, I think, a 4.5, 4.6. He had a bunch of touchdowns, maybe 5 or 6 touchdowns. So he's a legitimate player. I think I'll have a big game. And he's had some big runs for this team. So, yeah, it'll be fun to watch him. I think the other backs, we might see Shipley get some run in there, but
Yeah. I
yeah,
don't have Shipley on my list. I want to see Tank.
yeah, me too.
Yeah, I think there's just a lot of juice there, and it's been like a tease all year because you see him and you're like, oh my god, this guy's so much fun. I would think he'll probably start this game
I would think
and
so.
and get a quite a bit of the run.
Yeah, and there were times where Saquon wasn't getting yards where I wanted to see more Tank.
Mhm.
Um, and then
I think
Saquon,
fans did too, based on
yeah,
the mentions I was getting and
yeah,
questions.
and then Saquon, they started to put up better numbers, and I guess in the Giants game they both had 100 yards, which was fun. So I want to definitely see a lot of Tank.
Jahan Dotson on my list because he had a huge game week 18 last year, 7 catches on 11 targets for what was it 94 yards.
94 yards, yeah.
Uh, this is like his game. He doesn't get many targets otherwise. This is the second year in a row he's been literally the least productive receiver in the NFL, and I don't think he's like a great receiver, but he's better than the numbers show you.
Yeah, I agree. And when he has had opportunities, he makes the most of them. I look at the Super Bowl and that first I think it was their second play, and then
Mhm.
he caught another ball. I mean, he should it was he was taught not to reach out with the ball, so he didn't, and it cost him a Super Bowl touchdown. It was originally called a TD, but um,
I told you he blames Nick for that,
yeah,
for the
but
good fundamentals.
yeah, but is that one of the things up on the banner up above the stage? Don't
Yeah, don't reach.
yeah, um, letters and logos.
Hmm.
I'm not allowed to say what that means. Um, yeah, I think he can be a legit. I mean, 3 years is just never going to get the ball. Um, I don't know. I mean, you have three receivers who are first rate, and I just don't know how much Jalen's going to his third read. I think that's part of it.
How do you look back at the Jahan Dotson trade?
Gave up a lot for him.
Yeah, it was a 3 and then a pick swap. So really, I mean, the 3 that's
Yeah,
a third round pick is not nothing.
yeah. I for a 3, I would have liked to see him get more opportunities.
Mhm. But you also like once you win a Super Bowl, though, I think everything is worth it. He had a big catch in the Super Bowl,
Yeah,
worth the third round pick. You won that game,
yeah.
right? That's kind of the way I view it. But I'm looking forward to watching him in this game. I have two other receivers on my
And he's a
list.
free agent after the season.
He
I
will be, yeah.
can't imagine he's going to want to come back
Yeah.
here.
And that was part of the trade when they got him. It's like you get this guy for 2 years. It's
Right,
not a rental.
right.
Yeah. I have two other receivers on my list. Do you know who they are?
Darius Cooper
Darius Cooper is one.
and Quez Watkins.
No, no, Britton Covey.
Does Quez have a? He has elevations, right? He hasn't
Yeah, they
played.
haven't elevated him at all.
All right, he might get a shot.
Well, you're limited how many players you can elevate, and
Elevate
one of them has to
everybody.
go to the long snapper.
Yeah.
So,
Covey, they threw to Covey a lot in the opener
mhm.
2 years ago, right? Had 6 targets, caught 6 passes for like 19 yards.
Yeah,
Um, he believes he can be a slot receiver in this league. Oh, we might see him in that role.
I think he'll play a little bit. Now, he is also a guy that I'm like, maybe don't play him too much because you can't afford to lose him going into the playoffs.
The human punching bag, he calls himself.
Gosh, he takes some hits.
He does. He takes a beating.
It's funny in the press box. I try to be professional and not like make sounds.
Yeah,
It's tough to not make a sound when he gets hit like that.
yeah.
It's like, ooh, ah.
What is it? What is it?
Yeah, I'm not going to do it again. I didn't
Okay.
like that I did it the first time, but you know the sounds.
Yeah,
Dude gets obliterated.
he does.
And then Darius Cooper,
Cooper.
there's something there.
I think so.
Yeah, I think he has. I think he's going to be their 3 next year.
Do you really?
I do. I think he's that good.
Had a good talk with him yesterday.
I think right now he's their 3rd best receiver.
It's possible. Uh, really confident kid. He's really looking forward to this opportunity. He just talked about how I asked him about how do you get better when you're not playing a lot, not getting a lot of reps, and he said when you're in a room with Devontae and AJ, you're going to get better. And he mentioned Jahan. Um, he said you're going to get better. You just learn something from those guys every day. Um, he's got good size. I think he catches the ball well. Um,
He's been a good blocker for them
he is a physical guy.
all year. He's
Yeah.
kind of filled that Johnny Wilson role, who they lost Johnny Wilson in training camp to pretty significant injury. Um, we've seen Johnny a little bit in the last few weeks. He's like walking around. That's been good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's taken control of that like blocking role, but makes some catches when they throw him the ball.
I wonder if they might draft a receiver fairly early next year or this year. I guess it would be.
Why?
Why?
To not throw him the football?
To have another viable option that they.
I mean, we just talked about them giving up a 3rd round pick for Dotson, and that maybe not working out because they don't throw him the football.
Yeah. I think they might. I think they might draft one. Who they like more than Dotson.
Okay.
Just a thought. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Cooper as well. I like the kid.
What do you think about my theory? The 3 next year.
It's possible. Yeah.
Just he was so impressive. He showed up here from Tarleton State and acted like he belonged from day one.
He did.
And he did. Like
Yeah.
that was the most impressive thing to me. A lot of times you see a kid from a small school and they like turtle in the moment that and you don't get many chances. You know, you're an undrafted kid from a small school,
Yeah.
from an FCS school. You just don't get those opportunities. And man, he was impressive all summer. And they liked him enough that he got hurt. He popped his shoulder out. They put him on IR. They brought him back.
Yeah.
Like that tells you how much they like him.
Yeah. He was asked what the biggest difference between college football and the NFL was, and whether it was the speed of the game. He's like, no, it's about the same. And I was like, the speed of the game is the same here as Tarleton State. And he's like, well, it's a little faster, but that didn't really. He said that wasn't really an issue for him. He said he felt comfortable from the start.
I have one more on offense.
Okay.
Drew Kendall,
Yeah.
5th round pick, hasn't played very much all year. He's been inactive for a lot of the season. 25 snaps on offense. I'd imagine he won't start this game, I don't think. I think we'll see Brett Toth start the game at center, but I think Kendall will play a little bit.
Yeah. Interesting guy. They liked him coming out.
Yeah, and he's the last of those day 3 linemen who can play in this game. Well, Cameron Williams, they actually have to decide by today. By the time you're listening to this, he's going to be on IR for the season, I think, because if they activate him, he has to be on the 53, and they don't have a 53-man spot.
Yeah.
Miles Hinton is on IR for the rest of the season. Same with Willie Lampkin, who they brought in after training camp. So it's a shame because I would have really liked to see Miles Hinton.
I would have liked to see Willie.
Sure.
Yeah.
Both of those guys in this game, but didn't work out that way.
Yeah.
Let's flip the defense. I have Jahad Campbell on my list because I really would like to see him play. I think they would like to see him play. Now, if he's banged up, you have to hold him out, but this could be another valuable game for him.
Yeah, I think as many reps as he can get. I mean, when Kobe came back, he stopped getting playing time, and any young kid that you really like needs to play. And I think if he can get another 50, 60 snaps in his body of work, it'll be good for him.
Yeah, I think there's probably people who haven't watched the Eagles this year who look at it and say, disappointing season. He lost his starting job. It's like, no, I mean, he played well. Jacoby just came back and played better. And that's not a knock on John Campbell.
Yeah,
I think he has a really bright future.
I do too.
Next one is Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Uh, I think he's going to start this game as a middle linebacker. And it's a chance for him to show that he's not a special teamer, that he has some ability to play linebacker in this league.
Yeah, we've seen it. I mean, we've seen it at practice and preseason games. I mean, I think he can play linebacker. He's going to be limited because of his stature, but he's physical and he's active and he's smart. He's a smart player. You can tell that.
Just the instincts pop
Yeah,
for me when I watch him play.
yeah. So he's a good one.
I don't have Smile London on there. You could certainly add him to the list, but my guess is that we see Trot and Campbell, if he's healthy enough, start this game. Uh, I have defensive tackle Ty Robinson, who I kind of whiffed on that one. I thought he would be a bigger part of this defense this year, and he hasn't been. And I think it's just because he's been buried behind Byron Young, who I didn't expect to have this good of a season.
Yeah,
But yeah, he's been the odd man out, but he's going to play in this game.
yeah, yeah. I'm with you on that. I thought he'd be a regular part of the rotation, but there was no way to know BY was gonna have this kind of year. We didn't think he was gonna make the team. That was kind of a surprise when he initially made the team. So,
I had him on my 53.
but I mean, like when camp started,
Sure.
we weren't thinking he was going to be on the 53. But um, yeah, by then you can make a case for it. But yeah, I want to see him too. He's an older guy and you
Or
know
rookie, 24.
an older rookie. Yeah, he's not like 40, but um, that was kind of part of the equation of why I thought he'd play a lot because
Mhm.
he was the
6-year senior. Yeah.
NFL ready type guy with a lot of college reps. So um, he's played a little bit, not much. Looking forward to seeing him.
Yeah. Mac McWilliams on my list.
Yeah.
I don't know how much he'll play. I don't think he'll start because you have other corners like, you probably start Keeley and Jacorian Bennett, maybe Adoree Jackson in this game. But I'd like to see Mac get some run, maybe inside and outside.
Yeah.
5th round pick from UCF.
Yeah. Kind of feel like he's a slot. Um,
Well, it's interesting. He played more outside in college, but he does have the build of a nickel,
yeah.
and they've worked him at both.
Yeah. He's another one. I thought he had a pretty good camp, did some good things. Jacorian Bennett's kind of a mystery. Like, why did you go get him?
Yeah, maybe a disconnect with the coaching staff and the front office. Maybe he did get hurt and just maybe got behind. I don't know.
Yeah. And Adoree's played so much better, so
Hmm.
it hasn't really been a factor. I mean, Vic played the right guy. Um, what a turnaround for Adoree Jackson.
Yeah,
He
really.
was so bad. He was so bad in camp and then when he played early. So yeah, I would put Jacorian Bennett on my list,
Hmm.
but I like Mac on there too.
Yeah, and I put Michael Carter on this list because I think there's a chance he plays nickel and safety in this game.
Yeah, interesting.
Someone who was like a really good player, got a really big contract as a nickel corner, technically under contract for next year. He won't be here at the number that's on that
Oh, he's got a big
contract.
number.
It's a
Yeah,
big number.
yeah,
So, they're going to either cut him or restructure. But he's someone who I'd be willing to bring back if he shows some ability as a backup to play multiple roles. And, you know, Cooper has that versatility too, long term. So, yeah,
yeah. I think
worthwhile piece.
wasn't he the highest paid pure slot when he
He was
signed?
at the time that he signed his
Yeah,
contract. So, and that wasn't that long ago.
no, it wasn't.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to watching him a little bit.
Yeah,
That's my list. Anyone I missed?
no, no. I like that list. Those are all intriguing guys to me. A lot
Fun.
of young guys
Yeah.
who I just haven't seen much of.
Yeah. I enjoy these games. I know that, people are going to say there's no reason to watch. No, there's plenty of reason to watch. First off, actually does matter from a seating perspective, which adds a wrinkle to a game like this because you have all these backups playing in a game that actually matters, and that's a rare thing.
Yeah, and when the Lions scored, they put it up on the big screen. Place is going to go nuts. I would think they should. But you're right. we'll see these guys in higher leverage situations than we normally
Mhm.
do at the end of the year.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. Let's get to your questions. Eagle-eyed NBCUni.com QR code is on the screen if you're watching on YouTube. First one is from John. Honestly, there shouldn't be a team in the NFL the Eagles should fear in the playoffs or Super Bowl. Chicago? No way Vic gets embarrassed twice. San Francisco? They just gave up 38 to Chicago, and Vic isn't giving up 42. LA? Atlanta just showed Stafford can be rattled. Seattle? We've seen what happens to Darnold in the playoffs. NFC South, likely one and done. Green Bay, been there, won that. Bottom line, with this defense, the Eagles can compete and beat anyone. This is truly a battle tested team, and if the offense can just be mediocre and not turtle while holding a lead, there's no reason they can't repeat as Super Bowl champions.
Well, I agree with everything you said except the mediocre. I mean, you would sign up for mediocre right
Mm-hmm.
now. Mediocre is what, 23, 24 points a game? Yeah, you'll take that.
I like his point about the other teams though, because this is a year where, and I think that's part of the frustration about this team not living up to expectations, is because it is so wide open this year. There's not one like the number one seed might be a team with Sam Darnold at quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's some pretty good offenses and yeah, I mean, like we said in earlier, like it's asking a lot of the defense to just shut these teams down if the offense can't do anything. Like I don't know if Vic's group can shut down the 49ers and hold them to 13 points, which they might need to do to win.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Well, not with that defense isn't very good either.
no, but neither was the Bills, So it's a tough ask for the defense to just be elite week after week to like hold teams to 13 to 16 points to get to the Super Bowl. I don't know. Maybe they can do it.
Yeah.
You'd like to get some help from the other side of the ball.
Certainly. Next one is from Bill. Hi, David and Rube. Thanks for keeping me connected to the Eagles down here in Orlando. It feels like Nick Sirianni's reputation is permanently damaged by the 2023 season. However, we saw the 49ers collapse last year after losing the Super Bowl, and the Chiefs collapse this year after the Super Bowl. Also, Dan Campbell is about to finish in last place after losing both his coordinators to a head coaching job. Nick Sirianni dealt with both during the same season, went 11-6, and made the playoffs with bad defensive personnel. Is it time to look at 2023 as a coaching success rather than a permanent black mark on his resume? I'd love for you guys to start the campaign to correct the narrative around Sirianni as a coach.
Well, I think I've been doing that, not specifically talking about 23 and calling it a success because it was a terrible collapse. They did win double-digit games that year. Um, I think 11, right? They were 10 and
Yeah.
1 and then one just beat the Giants in the last 5. Um, I mean, I just wrote a column about, why he's never gotten consideration for coach of the year, never will because they're good every year. And you have to be bad to get coach of the year because it's really comeback coach of the year. It's like who was bad last year?
I think it's also like who did the most with the least, and they have a lot.
Yeah, they have a lot of talent, and he doesn't call plays. And I think people look at him. Um, well, he's got the fifth highest record, one loss record ever. I was just looking up before you came here, before you got here. 19 teams have had 5 straight winning records on the road, and I wanted to see if any coach had ever done it in his first 5 years. And Don Shula is the only other one.
Mm.
So he's in like really good company in a lot of different. When you look at coaches who made the playoffs their first 5 years, winning records first 5 years, 2 Super Bowls in their first 5 years. I mean, he's an elite head coach. He does it differently than most offensive head coaches who are elite play callers. And I think that's why he doesn't get the credit he deserves because he does it
Yeah.
by building culture and
And I think it's like it's harder to pinpoint his value added.
hmm, probably. I don't think people understand what he does and just how big, like how much his players swear by his process and appreciate it and believe in it and buy in, and that's how they win.
On Wednesday, Jalen Hurts was asked about Nick and spoke so glowingly about him, which is like a pretty big departure from a year ago. But he talked about, how Nick has evolved. And at first, he praised him for his process and the way he goes about his business. But um, he was asked about Nick's evolution in the last 5 years. And he talked about like having different roles and still being able to find success in those different roles. And I think Jalen looks at himself similarly, right? Like whatever it takes kind of stuff. Like I'm going to be whatever the team needs me to be. I think him and Nick, I think he sees some similarities between him and Nick in that respect.
Yeah, I believe it. I'll have to listen to that.
It was good. From Michael. Hi guys, I've cracked the code. Eagles with Charlie Hewlett, 7-0. Without, 4-5. Discuss.
Clearly cause and effect.
I think so.
Yeah.
No causation issue there.
No.
Yeah. And they will have him in this game. They did cut him. I don't know what that says about how they feel about it.
Yeah. Do you cut your best player?
They must have really liked Charlie Hewlett, by the way. 10-year vet had an injury, and they kept him around all year to bring him back.
How could you not? 7-0 with him.
Yeah. Fair enough. From James. Hey, Dave and Rube, been listening to you both since I discovered the Eagle Eye podcast following the win over the Chiefs in 23 and was so pumped I wanted more content that very night. Question. Does it ever seem to you that Kevin Patullo frequently fails to have any game plan, but rather is just taking each snap in isolation, as if he just takes the down and distance, looks at the sheet, and comes out with a play? I hope you two can talk me down. Optional music question for Rube too, but let's answer this one.
Say optional?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's something we've talked about, that he doesn't really seem to know how to use plays to set up other plays.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's part of the issue with the offense. He doesn't know how to kind of, like, we did this in the second quarter, so this will work in the fourth quarter. You just don't see that.
Yeah, and that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
And I totally agree with that assessment. And it's something where it's tough to quantify it, but you look at it and you go, it looks like the same person's not calling the plays the whole game. Right? That's
Yeah.
the way I view it.
Yeah.
Music question for you. It seems like jam bands are not really your cup of tea, but what is the best concert in that genre, however you wish to define it, that you have ever seen, or have all your experiences been duds?
No, I would probably say, I'd probably say Daniel Donato. I think he falls into that category, right?
I don't know.
And Goose. Those are the two that I saw this year that, I would put up there.
Okay.
I think they're both in that. My friend just saw Fish the last 3 nights in New York.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's not many bands I would go to New York 3 nights in a row to see.
I mean, the Fish people do it. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was like, he was texting me, first thing in the morning, like they played this is the first time I've seen him play. There was some song that they played for like the first time. It's like, they haven't played it in like 17 years. And like, there was a spaceship coming off the stage and stuff. It's like,
I have a buddy who's a big Fish fan. I always joke around when he goes to see them, like, you enjoy those 3 songs?
yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Great musicianship.
Yeah. Yeah. Their keyboard player is great. Paige O'Donnell, I think his name is, or Neil O'Donnell or something.
I'm not going to know the answer if you're looking at me.
Neil O'Donnell, he was a quarterback with the Jets and Steelers. It was a great headline.
Not the same guy?
When he got hurt, and they didn't have a good backup. When he was with the Jets, the back page headline in the Daily News was "Kneel down and pray."
That's good.
It was a pretty good headline.
That's good.
But I would say Donato and Goose, not Geese, but Goose, were very good.
Next one from John. Question for my favorite pod. What is your explanation for the brutal offensive line play this year? Steen and Trebekton is the only personnel change, but it's not like the right guard has been a glaring hole in the otherwise solid line. Mailata, Dickerson, and Juergens have all played well below the standard we've come to expect from Stoutland's group. Thanks and keep up the great work.
Yeah, we touched on this earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Jordan's been pretty good. I don't think there's been a big drop off from last year. But yeah, I think
he's played below that level though.
A little bit. I do think the interior.
He was a Pro Bowl snub last year. We're not saying that this year.
No. But yeah, I think the health of the middle, the left guard and the center is at the root of it.
Yeah. And like we talked about, at this point, you hope it's the health.
Yeah,
like that's the ideal reason at this point.
I think with Landon, I'm pretty convinced it is. With Cam, I just don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
From Pete.
Hey, Pete.
Been listening to the pod going all the way back to Rube Knows.
Yes.
Is there a chance that, by the way, Rube Knows was, if you go back in this feed pretty far back, like years back, Rube Knows was Rube's podcast with just him sitting down, talking into a microphone.
How did I do that?
That's a really tough thing. People don't realize that's how tough that is.
Yeah.
You feel like a lunatic just sitting down and talking to
I
yourself.
feel like a lunatic talking to you. But no, I think it's probably because I did a lot of solo radio.
Hmm.
So I was
No
kind of,
callers to save you though on a podcast.
yeah, but you tried doing that like 2 to 6 a.m.
No callers
on a
anyway.
Tuesday. Yeah, you're not getting a lot of
Yeah,
callers.
that's fair. Is there a chance that win or lose, Sirianni wanted to show the Bills as little as possible because they assume they will see them again in the Super Bowl? Also, who is Rube's all-time favorite keyboard player?
Yeah, I don't think they're thinking that far ahead.
No,
You can't do
definitely
that.
not. Yeah,
You
they're
got
trying to win the game.
you got to try to win the game. My all-time favorite keyboard player is probably, I would say, Patrick Moraz, who was with Yes, was also with the Moody Blues for some time. He only played on one Yes record, Relayer. I actually saw him at the Chestnut Cabaret play solo piano with Bill Bruford, drums and piano show. But he's probably the guy.
Okay,
Yeah. Keith Emerson's right up there. Tony Banks is up there from Genesis. Rick Wakeman. Those are the guys.
I get it.
Yeah. You have a favorite keyboard player?
You.
And for pure piano playing, I would say Keith Gottshaw, who was with the Dead from, I guess, what, like 71 till 77 or 78. He was my favorite piano only. He just played piano.
Okay.
He was great, but he was only great from like 71 to 73.
How do you feel about an organ? Like an organ?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
and I actually, I'm trying to learn a little. It's totally different fingering, and
Hmm.
you don't have a damper pedal on an organ, so you have to hold the keys down. I'm actually playing organ in a gig tomorrow in Doylestown. So
Really?
for one song, I'm playing piano for 3 songs and organ on one. So
Was it in
learning how to do that.
when we were on the Brown campus wandering around, we found that room that it was a big like music hall, then the organ took up like all of it.
Oh yeah, yeah,
It was pretty cool. I like those pipe organs that are just like
yeah.
they have to
Like
like store the pipes throughout the building because they're
they're
so big.
they're really cool. They had my college in Ohio had like the one of the largest pipe organs in the world. It
Mm,
was called the Keller pipe organ, and I got to play it a few times.
it's cool.
And I would just play Genesis on it, and you can actually hear like the air going through the pipes,
It's neat.
which is really cool. Yeah,
Want to do one more here?
yeah.
From Ted. Dave and Rube, love the show. Your back and forth banter only adds to the mystique. I wanted to get your
The
thoughts on
mystique.
the following. Should a division winner be allowed in the playoffs with a losing record, which has happened before and may happen again this year in the NFC South? I know the NFL owners are uniform in wanting a home game in the playoffs if their team wins the division. However, this is inherently unfair. If a division winner can't reach at least a 500 record, should they be allowed in the playoffs if all the wildcard teams are above 500? It penalizes the wildcard teams with better records and can create perverse incentives as the number 5 seed may want to lose to have an easier game facing an inferior 4 seed. Additionally, making a 500 requirement to get into the playoffs would keep more teams in the hunt, which is in line with what the league seems to prefer.
No, I like it the way it is because I don't know how you would do it, how you would seed teams. I just think it's rare. It doesn't happen very often, and I don't think it happens often enough to change the way you determine who's in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, you could kind of just seed in the conference based on record, but yeah, I like division winners get a home game. I
Yeah,
think it's a cool thing. And yes, like the NFC South has been bad for a while. So uh, kind of rare though. Like I feel like there's enough parity in the league where, yeah, maybe this division is bad this year and then it's good the next year. And I
yeah,
like that. I like that there's a lot at stake with those division games.
yeah. I agree, and it's like it could be a different division each year. It's not like the same
Hmm.
division is getting this 7 and 9, 7 and 10, whatever,
Yeah.
8, 9 team.
Now, look, I understand the last few years has been like, yeah, the NFC South stinks. The NFC West has been pretty good. The NFC North this year, but like I think it's all cyclical.
Yeah.
Okay. You
Who
have a
used, who
question?
used to say that cyclical all the time? Was it Marty?
That makes
He
sense.
would, oh, it's cyclical.
That
Yeah.
that sounds like
Everything
a
you would ask him
Martyism.
anything, he'd be like, "Well, it's cyclical." Yeah, it was a Martyism.
Marty Morningwig.
Yeah, the great.
Fun guy to cover.
Yeah,
If you have a question for us, eagle at nbcuni.com. Rube, we have to make picks this week, I guess. Tough game to pick. Are you going to pick the Eagles backups or are you going to pick Josh Johnson?
I'll go with the Eagles.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna pick the Eagles too. I think they can win this game. The Commanders aren't. I don't know. It's a weird game. I think they're gonna win.
It's at home. Josh Johnson's not very good. Plus, I have a 2-game lead in the picks, so I need to do everything I can to protect my lead. So I figure everyone's going to pick the Eagles, so I'm certainly not going to risk losing a game in the standings
Okay.
by picking Washington. So I'm going to go with the scratch.
Are you 2 games up?
I think I might be.
Okay. I don't know. I don't have it in front of me. I came out of the basement though because I picked the Eagles. Me and Ashlyn were in the basement together. I picked the Eagles. She picked the Bills. So I got a game up.
Did she pick the Bills?
Yeah.
It's an understandable pick.
Yeah. I was back and forth all last week, and she almost got it right.
I got Jason Avant to change his mind on the set as we were about to do our picks. He had Buffalo winning 24-21. I was like, come on. And he's like, yeah, you're right. I'm going with the Eagles. And he actually changed his mind like a minute before we did our picks.
Wow.
Yeah. The graphic was messed up, but
If you enjoy the Eagle Eye Podcast, please do us a favor, rate and subscribe wherever you get your pods. If you're watching on YouTube, click the like button, subscribe there as well. Rube, any final thoughts?
no, just Happy New Year to everybody. Have a safe and healthy 2026.
Absolutely. Happy New Year. This has been the Eagle Eye Podcast brought to you by Nissan. Game on Sunday. We'll talk to you after.